Hello, everyone. I am Starset7, and welcome back to another YouTube video for Starset7 Gaming. In this video, we're going to be going over the two-tailed fox and how it's going to be working with your Solar 3.0 subclass. And the main reason that I'm going to be going over this is there's a lot of people that are playing the free to play Destiny that don't have access to the dungeon. So if you're not able to get the Galahorn, something like the two-tailed fox, which I do believe is going to be free to everyone because everybody can go to Xur. And this weekend, you can go to Xur and get the two-tailed fox and use it and see how it's going to work with your Solar 3.0 subclass, which I'm super stoked about because I'm really having fun with it now that I'm getting a lot more of the artifact mods unlocked. So let's take a look at what the two-tailed fox has to offer. So the main perk on the two-tailed fox is twin tails. So this rocket launcher shoots 2 rockets, 1 void and 1 solar that can track onto the same target. Next up, we have composite stock, which slightly increases stability and slightly increases handling speed. So the void rocket that this thing shoots is going to suppress enemies. So if you're shooting a boss, you're going to get that suppression for a couple of seconds, as well as the solar rocket causes damage over time. So basically you're doing, I'm going to say it's Scorch. So even before I shoot any of my solar weapons, whether it's my glaive, if I'm using Lubre's Ruin, or it's Galahorn, actually it's pronounced Gajaller, as I hear in my head from somebody else that I stream with. So anyways, it is going to work out amazingly on how you have your perks set up. The next, we have high velocity rounds, which increases projectile speed as well as increases reload speed. And we've got confined launch, so greatly increases stability, increases blast radius, and decreases projectile speed. The stats on it, it is a little bit lower on the reload speed, as you're going to see in the clip that I have of the rocket launcher in action in the Castellum. It does take a little bit extra time to reload it, but as you can see, when the top of it pops open, 2 rockets actually go in. It's pretty awesome. The blast radius, it has a 40 for blast radius on the stat. You can actually see the area for the blast radius when taking out, say, a group of 3 enemies. And we're going to be getting into how I got the build set up and why I'm suggesting this. Let's go take a look. So in here, we're going to be taking a quick look at the gameplay to see how the Twin Tails is going to work with our Solar 3.0 build, and why I think it's going to be absolutely effective rocket launcher in here, and a good rocket launcher to go with. So taking a look at the 3 enemies, we're spawning that solar well, picking that up is instantly giving you 10 seconds of healing because of how I have the mod set up with getting that healing back right away. Go over, pick up the rally flag, get all of those rockets in there, take a look for some more enemies, and how it's working out, it really is fun to play with. Really, the lower enemies with less health, it is just destroying them. Plus, on an enemy with a higher health bar, you're going to get that suppression. Getting those multiple enemy kills is going to give you that healing back, as well as that Ember of Tempering, as you've seen it popped up there on the left hand side. Got Radiant, throwing knives back instantly. Like I said, a little bit slower on the reload speed. But yeah, I think it's definitely effective and going to give you the ability to get that healing back from picking up these wells 100%. All right, so the way I have this build set up, let's go and take a look at the subclass first. So for the Hunter, it is the Gunslinger subclass for Solar 3.0. And as you can see, I am using Blade Barrage. Right now in the game, Blade Barrage is doing the highest damage of all the supers against an enemy. So pairing that also with Radiant definitely buffs that damage as well as gives Radiant to people around you. So taking a look, we've got Marksman's Dodge. The reason I have this set up is also the legs that I am running, which we will get into. But it has the lowest cooldown time, as you can see at the bottom, of 29 seconds, which is going to give you that back really, really quick. And depending on what you're using or how you have those mods set up in your armor, you can get it back even quicker. I have triple jump as well as knife trick, and the way I have knife trick set up with the mods and the aspects and the fragments, if I'm getting kills, as long as I'm throwing those knives and something is dying instantly, I get those knives back instantly. So I can just keep spamming them over and over and over as long as I'm getting those kills. If you're going up against an enemy that's got a little bit of a higher power bar, getting a couple of shots in on them and then throwing those knives and disintegrating them is just going to keep giving you those knives back. So it's absolutely awesome. It's really fun to play with, and yeah, check it out. Next up, I also use Healing Grenade. So it just, with the overwhelming amount of enemies that are in a lot of the content that we have right now, especially the boss room on Duality, it is absolutely overwhelming in there, the amount of snipers and the enemies that are spawning and everything that you got to take out, and you're trying to run around and do other things. Having that Healing Grenade is really a godsend in there, and even the different ways that you can set up picking up wells like Well of Life that is going to be able to heal you, as well as the mods that are going to create those wells. So moving on to the aspects, I have Knock 'em Down. So the way this works, your solar supers are enhanced. Golden Gun Dead Shot has increased duration. Golden Gun Marksman has increased damage resistance and duration, and Blade Barrage launches more projectiles. So this is absolutely awesome to run. You're going to get a higher amount of damage, as well as with Blade Barrage you're getting more projectiles, which when landing those shots, depending on what you're using for your fragments, you're definitely going to be doing more damage. Hence why it is the highest damage super in the game right now. And as well, so while Radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund the melee energy. So those final blows, like I said, throwing those knives, you're going to get them back. As long as you are getting a kill, you are going to get that back. Like I said, if you're up against something that's a little bit higher, you give them a couple of shots, 2 or 3 shots, you throw those knives, you disintegrate them, and or basically you just burn them out of existence. They're gone. You get those knives back right away. If you do throw those knives and it doesn't kill what you're throwing them at, just kind of damages them a bit, you will have to wait that 29 seconds to get your knives back. So I definitely recommend, in my opinion, running Knock 'em Down as an aspect. Next, we have On Your Mark for the next aspect. And as well, if you look, it gives you fragment slots. So 2 fragment slots there, and we've got 3 fragment slots. So you're going to get all 5 fragment slots with using these 2 as a combination. So on your mark, precision findables grant you and nearby allies increased weapon handling and reload speed for a short duration. This also stacks times 3. So if there's 3 of you, it stacks times 3. Activating your class ability immediately grants maximum stacks of on your mark. So when you get on your mark, nearby allies will also get on your mark, and you get on your mark by doing precision final blows, which is absolutely awesome. For the fragments, we have Ember of Torches. So powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. So throwing those knives or getting that powered melee attack is going to get you and those allies radiant. That radiant buff is absolutely awesome. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy. So scorching targets, whether you're throwing your knives at a more powerful enemy and it just scorches them, or you're getting scorch from using your heavy, or you're, say, for my example, using Lubre's Rune, which is also a solar glaive, is going to give you scorch. So solar, the next up is Ember of Tempering. So solar weapon final blows grant you and your allies increased recovery for a short duration. This also stacks times 3. So if there's 3 of you, like I said, you're in a raid, or you're in a raid, you're close to 3 people, they can get that. It stacks times 3. You're in the dungeon with 3 people, that stacks times 3. Or even if you are in a strike or a nightfall, the GM stacks times 3. Definitely going to help everybody and yourself out quite a bit with that survivability. So while Ember of Tempering is active, your weapons have increased airborne effectiveness. So if you're that floating warlock or the titan in your group, having a hunter with the Ember of Tempering, or if you are using Ember of Tempering on your other classes or your other characters, this is definitely going to help you out to lean into that airborne effectiveness, as well as if you're using different types of exotics, such as the ones Xur is currently selling right now. Next up, we have Ember of Blistering. So defeating targets with solar ignition grants grenade energy. So using it for my example, in my case, that healing grenade is going to give you that grenade energy back really quick, defeating targets with solar ignition. Next up, we have Ember of Solent, Solace. So radiant and restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. So instead of getting radiant just for a couple of seconds, like I said, using the throwing knives, or getting those final blows, you're going to have it. I do believe it's for 18 seconds, 16 seconds. I can't remember off the top of my head. So that is the way I have run this build on my hunter. To move over to how I have the mods selected in the armor slots, let's take a look at that. So first up, for my helmet, I am running Explosive Wellmaker, so rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. So what I'm using for explosive damage is the Fatebringer with explosive payload in Firefly, which is going to help create those elemental wells. For my arms, I am running Elemental Ordnance, so defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass type or energy type. So if I do switch over from from my healing grenade just to a regular explosive solar grenade, I'm definitely going to get those wells as well. For the chest armor, I have Well of Ordnance. So picking up a solar elemental well grants you additional grenade energy. Multiple copies of this mod increase this effect, so you can throw this into other mod slots and it will also increase that effect. On my legs, I am running Well of Life. So this is really big. I really don't care what character you're running, whether it's Warlock, Hunter, or Titan. This especially works really well for Titan. So picking up a solar elemental well grants you increased regeneration for a short period of time, which is awesome. And I'm also running Innervation. So the way this works is reduced grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So a lot of people spawning elemental wells, a lot of people spawning orbs of power. So getting those is also going to feed into the cooldowns of your grenade. Next up for the cloak, this is your class item. I'm using Classy Restoration. Classy Restoration has really been a godsend since I've thrown it in there. I really wasn't too impressed right away with Solar 3.0, just because I didn't have that survivability, being overwhelmed with enemies. So activating your solar class abilities grant you restoration. So doing my dodge will grant me restoration, and you can see it. You do your dodge, like you're almost about to die, do your dodge, and your health just goes zoop right back up to full. So this is definitely helping out. As well as I pointed out, there is other things in there that are going to give you a cooldown on that dodge, that marksman's dodge, instead of waiting for so long. The cooldown is only 29 seconds. So you're going to get that back a whole lot quicker. So there's your survivability. You've also got your healing grenade. That's survivability. You've got those throwing knives that you can spam, which is a lot of fun. And I've also paired this with elemental armament. So combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. Like I said, the more wells you're spawning, the more wells that are around the room. You can also pick them up, which is also going to proc this Well of Life. So like I said, picking up the solar elemental wells grants increased regeneration for a short period of time. So getting kills with those solar weapons, whether it's a solar weapon like the glaive, or like your Gajalar horn, or like your twin-tailed fox, which is also giving you the suppression on your enemy, and it's doing that solar damage over time, is going to definitely help out quite a bit for any type of solar damage. And like I said, this is 100% leaning into the Solar 3.0 build and how you can have different things working with it. So I am going to go over to the camera screen here. Oh yes, that's what I wanted to do. So I'm running the Bombardier leg armor, exotic leg armor. And the way this works is when you do your dodge, dodging leaves behind an explosive that detonates after a short delay, damaging targets around it and creating a secondary effect based on your subclass energy type. So if you're, and this works with all subclasses. So if you're running your arc subclass, this blinds targets. If you're running solar, this scorches targets. If you're running void, it suppresses targets. So it also still works with your void subclass and getting that suppression and the ability to go invisible. And it also works with your stasis subclass by slowing targets, which is perfect. I mean, all of this from one set of pants. I love it, and I have a lot of fun with it. You dodge, a little grenade pops out of these canisters that you got on the side of you, and kind of does a little spinning thing up in the air and goes boom. And you can see that it immediately, with the solar subclass, scorches targets soon as it explodes, which is also playing into the fragments that I have on the subclass as well. So let's go over to the webcam. Thank you everybody for checking out the video. If you can do me a favor, like it says right below my finger here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, jump in and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the content. If there's anything that you guys want to see in the future or anything that I can change, as well as I'm probably live right now. Come on over to twitch.tv/Starset7Gaming and come check us out over there. Drop down in the channel. You'll see a bunch of my different social media links. Follow us on there. Until next time, everybody, be safe out there and take care.